Ladies of Reddit, what's the smoothest way you've picked up a guy? Last summer I knew this very attractive guy from my physics research. He liked climbing large rocks, so I suggested we go climb large rocks together down by the river. After we climbed large rocks together, we waded into the river and sat back to back on a small rock in the middle of the water. While we were sitting in the river I said I liked him. Then we made out a bunch. He's a good boyfriend. I really like this story. It's sweet. Just thought I'd let you know that. I matched with my ex-boyfriend on Tinder. We had been matches for like 3 months but had never messaged each other. One day he messaged me, "Alright Eric, it's time to stop playing hard to get." And I just replied with, "Well, it worked, didn't it?" First date was the next day. I like how all those threads that us guys circle jerk over are full of complicated scenarios or witty schemes. Here, everyone just went about their normal day or showed them their boobs. I was clubbing in Cambridge at the end of November, and the club I was waiting in line for was passing out fake comedy mustaches we could stick on. So I put one on. There was a hot guy fit lad in front of me sporting an impressive tash, and I said, "Hey, you have a mustache." He agreed that he did. "I have a mustache." He agreed that I did. "We should touch our mustaches together." And we did. That is possibly the smoothest one here. Now I just need to find a girl with a mustache, or a dude with a mustache. I'm really not picky at this point. I've done this a couple times. If he is taking off I will say, "Hey, I think you forgot something." He will turn around and look confused and I will say my phone number. Dang, that's smooth. In college, I formed a study group as an excuse to get to know a guy in the class. We wound up dating, and I got an A, so win-win. Gender reversed community premise right here. I went to see a show at a local venue one night I did not want to miss. Was standing having a drink and spotted this gorgeous man there by himself, so I went over and asked, "What are you doing over here by yourself? We have been dating a year." Hopefully it's okay that I'm on the receiving end of this one. So my sophomore year of high school, there was this girl I was kind of developing feelings for. There was a dance coming up I wanted to take her to, but I didn't want to look like an idiot by asking her out and then hearing that she already had a date. I came up with this brilliant plan. I would ask her who she was going with, and then if she said either no one, or she didn't know, then I would ask her if she would like to go with me. The resulting conversation: "Who are you going to the dance with?" "You." I wonder if I should have tried repeating this conversation when I asked her to marry me. TL. DR. Marrying girl who made me go to dance. Do it anyway. Congrats too. I was in the pool, divided into lanes on one side and place for other people to chill, and was basically laying on my back after a tough workout. I had been a pretty good swimmer in my past glory days. I see this gorgeous guy getting into the pool, the shallow fun side mind you, kind of starts flailing a little when he tried to swim. He ends up near me and I said, "Learning to swim, huh?" And he gave me the dopiest, mildly embarrassed, and loveliest smile when he said, "Yee, you too." For some reason, I said, "Yeah, absolutely. It's hard." He immediately went into, "Let me teach her" mode. Suffice to say, we had a wonderful 3 hours in the water where this beautiful man-child taught me how to swim. He was a mess, but it was adorable. We went on a couple of dates afterwards, actual dinner and conversation, and remained friends afterwards for a couple of years before we each moved. A couple months later, after the dates and before friends period, we did end up seeing each other at the pool. He saw me trying to time myself on the 200 fly and watched with his mouth open. Mind you, at this age, I'm pretty slow, but I still look pretty good doing it. He walked up afterwards and was like, "Wahaya." I told him that he was a great teacher and laughed. It's still funny to this date. Not a lady, but I once had a woman simply tell me, "That shirt looks good on you." Dated for 8 months. I'm actually wearing it right now, and she still likes how it looks on me. Maybe you should wash it. It's only suitable to wear jeans 8 months. We started flirting via FB Messenger out of the blue one day. I was lonely and jokingly kind of invited him over to cuddle and sleep on my couch with me while we watched movies. He accepted my invitation. We made out for hours. I gave him a BJ. He felt me up. Didn't actually have piff sex until 2 months later because he was a virgin and hesitant. But dang, all that second third base was nice. We dated for 3 years. After hanging out a couple of times for a school project. You're really cute. Can I kiss you? It's been a year and we're still dating. I tricked my current boyfriend into going for a date. I'd ran into him a couple of times. Told a mutual friend I found him cute and she invited him when we went swimming. Showed him my butt in a bikini. Became Facebook friends. Made my status. Who wants to see the Avengers, knowing he hadn't seen it. A couple of people including him commented. Messaged the others and told them to frick off. He showed up to my dorm. I was dressed all cute. His eyes widened a little. I think he realized. Is X coming, he asked. Nope, I said. He was like, okay. We walked to the theater, talking about all kinds of stuff and laughing. Movie was awesome. We shared popcorn. Walked back. I didn't want to go back to my room. We stayed in the lounge talking. Eventually went to the 3rd floor cause it was dark. Talked all night and finally made out. Yee. 3rd floor corridor. MMMMMM. So I like my men well balanced between immature and mature. Meaning, he can crack jokes about stupid crap, watch cartoons, obsess over video games, and do kid-like stuff, but at the same time be intelligent, have a good work ethic, going to college, and can handle mature situations. I met a guy who was all of that and super attractive, but he was throwing hints he wanted to just be friends. So after a few weeks of hanging out I kinda forced our first date. I suggested we make a blanket fort and watch the Aquabats Super Show. That got him. Now we've been dating for almost 2 years. I found out later on that the hints of just being friends was not what he meant to do. Throwing hints he wanted to just be friends. Just ask us. We'll tell you. And also if we hang out with you and you only, we don't wanna be just friends. Stood next to a guy in line to get coffee, looked at him, smiled, and batted my eyelashes. Next thing I know we're dating. Unfortunately he was only attractive on the outside, so the relationship didn't last long. I hate it when that happens. Some really hot ones just don't know how to carry on a conversation. It's sad. Met him online back before people did things like that. Became friends and spent hours chatting and hanging out. Eventually I decided I liked him like that, so I sent him an email informing him of the fact and making it clear that if he wasn't interested, no sweat. He decided he liked me too and came for a visit. We got married a month later. We'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary soon. I was at a protest in Colorado and a guy ran up to talk to a friend of mine. I asked about him, cause he was cute, and it turns out he was also from Alabama. So I went up, punched him in the arm, and said, hey, I'm from Alabama. We should hang out sometime, and walked off. Dated about a year. I feel like that only works if you're from Alabama. Well, Tater my grits. I'm from Alabama too. After 6 months getting to know each other as friends, during which we realized we are from the same state, he went to college in my hometown, and that we, at the time, lived 5 minutes from each other. After a few nights we had a lot of fun, but ended on an awkward note. Well, I'm gonna get to bed. I have work. I get out of the car and think to myself, damn it, why didn't you say something? A few days later, after I saw Captain America, the Winter Soldier, I decide to have a nightcap at his apartment with him and his roommate. They lived up the street from the theater. Hours go by. I realize what time it is and have to leave. He offers to walk me out. As I'm about to walk away, I stop and say, actually, I don't want to end tonight on the note of cooking my next roasted chicken. Why don't we go out on a date? He moved in with me last month. IOBB while them clap them cheeks. Or other memes. Those weren't smooth but they made him laugh. I did convince him to give me commentary on League of Legends finals because I had no idea what was happening. I also used League of Legends to get a boyfriend. It worked surprisingly well. It wasn't for real, but I did try this pickup line on a friend. I asked him, have you read Dr. Seuss, and he started to reply. I cut him off with cuz green eggs and dang 10/10 would try again. This reminds me of a Julian McCulloch joke that I love. I hope I do it justice here with my paraphrasing. I was wearing a Batman shirt because I'm an adult at the bar and this woman comes stumbling over to me, which is nice. I'm already saving money. Then she says, "Excuse me, is it true what they say about Batman?" And I replied with, "I don't know. What do they say? That I'm gonna frick him." We both worked at different stores in the same mall. I had seen him a couple of times when I went into his store and we had talked for a while. One day he brought out some snowboard boots that I was going to try on. We got to talking and he asked why we hadn't hung out yet. So I said we probably would have by now if you had ever asked for my number. He totally blushed and of course got my number. We're still dating 2 years later. Dang, you ladies are pretty dang smooth. But honestly, you could be having a stroke and I'd probably still fall for you. You are now tagged as stroke fetish. Freshman year, a bunch of my guy friends were all in the same frat. They were having a casual party one night and a few guys from some of the different Greek houses were there. A few of my good friends were talking with one of the guys that was from a different house. And just as I was about to tell one of them a pickup line I had recently thought of, another friend interrupted me to introduce me to the other house guy. We exchanged names and then the guy asks me what the pickup line was. He was awfully attractive, so drunk me says, "Alright, but it's a secret, see me." So I acted like I was going to whisper something in his ear, and instead I nibbled on his earlobe a bit. He was outrageously stoked on it. We boned a few times after that. Damn girl, I like this one. Flirted with him. Told him how great I thought his most recent project turned out. He did film in college, and asked if we could go out to lunch. Got him. Got him. Best line from a slightly bigger girl that I'll never forget. Backstory, young high schoolers. She knew my history of prior girlfriends. All petite. Out with her and her friends after a movie. Her. "If I get the chance to suck your dong, it'll be the best you've ever had." Me. "What makes you think that?" Her. "Well, obviously I know what I'm doing with my mouth." She was right for many years. If I was interested, I'd purposefully ask my date if he wanted to go to my favorite bar, which is always crowded and not too loud. We'd have to sit real close to hear each other. I'd get in close enough to let my lips touch his ear slightly as I spoke softly to him. He would melt in seconds. This. Holy frick. Everyone loves ear kisses. I'd be a puddle on the floor. Now I'm sad, and I'm single. About 2.5 years ago, I was of course sitting on Reddit and read something about how cuddling and other physically intimate acts release natural painkillers in your body, with a few more scientific terms than that. So I texted my booty-call explaining I had a headache and asked him to frick it out of me. Maybe not my classiest moment, but it worked. Side note, I really did have a headache and it really did go away after. I tried jerking a headache away. It kinda worked, cause I napped after. Couldn't sleep and was listening to music because sometimes it helps. Guy I liked sent me a message. He asked what I was doing, so I said I was just listening to music. But I also told him I'd rather be lying with my head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat instead. He got so shy and awkward. It was so cute. Unfortunately, that relationship didn't last. I think I would have heart failure after it melted from a girl saying this to me. I had a girl once at a club who was easily one of the hottest 10/10 girls that every guy obviously stared at when she walked in. Just point at me and use that finger beckoning thing. Needless to say, I arrived like a happy dog to a tennis ball. I straight up asked him, "Why haven't you asked me out yet?" And then we had a snowball fight and went to the movies. We're engaged now. I was at a house party my freshman year of college and the upstairs bathroom had a window that overlooked the deck we were out on. Basically, if a gentleman were to use the facilities he would be overlooking the party. So this very good looking guy opens the window and starts yelling at his friends from the bathroom. When he comes back downstairs, his group of friends is standing right near mine, so I turn around and say, "Hey, did you remember to wash your hands up there?" Everyone gives me the WTF look, and he answers, Yeah. I stuck my hand out and said, "Just wanted to make sure. Hi, I'm more than a superstar." He took my hand and introduced himself amidst all of our friends doing the ooh. I felt so freaking smooth. Plus I got to drunkenly make out with a hot older guy, 19, so much more mature. In my albeit hazy memory, this was such a movie moment. If a guy is wearing a suit, You know what is great about the word suit? It puts you and I together 100% of the time, it works half the time. Corsettery bedazzlery. I was very interested in hooking up with a guy I knew for 2 years of online gaming. We were from the same city and by that time had been on evening outs with more people from our gaming community. I was very clearly friend zone material, as he frequently told me of that girl he really liked. One day I asked him if he wanted to go to this really popular big club with me, and when he came to pick me up, he had to help me tie my corset. I could do that by myself, but later, when we were naked on the couch, told him, I just let you tie it so you knew how to untie it. The actual asking was insanely awkward though. I had to get 2 drinks down before I actually dared and told him several times that nothing would change if he declined. My ego would have been shattered. We've been happily married for several years now. It was done to me. A friend was heading off to the river to swim one summer with a group of local kids. She saw me and said I should go. When I said no, she said I had to. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my girlfriend. 2 minutes later, she comes back. Okay then. Big kiss. Now come swimming with us. The start of a beautiful few months. I'm like a 4-stroke 10 so I use pardon me. You dropped something. Your standards. Hi, I'm Captain Tampon. It hasn't worked but one day. I missed the smooth guy thread and I'm not particularly smooth, but I wanted to say the smoothest time I have ever been picked up is hanging out at the Avenue in Santa Cruz with some buddies. This stunning brunette walks up, edges her way into the conversation and then plants this electric freaking kiss on me. Speechless me and friends. Just look at her. She says, "You're right?" I'm like, "Yeah, who are you?" She says, "I'm the girl you better find out about." Light slap on my cheek, a wink and she leaves. That girl had freaking style. I was at an ugly sweater party at a friend's house. I met my now boyfriend and asked him what his favorite book was. We talked for at least 2 hours in the garage while everyone else was background noise to us. Took us another 9 months but we finally started dating and have been together almost 2 years. 50 Shades of Gay. A note. Do you like me? Yes, no, maybe circle 1. I'm not very smooth. I never picked guys up. They always hit on me. I can't seem to pick up women right, either. Maybe I need to go back to the notes? Notes are a staple. His phone got stolen and he was complaining that he'd lost all his contacts and that his replacement's phone wasn't as nice. I asked to see it and put my name and number in it. I handed it back with the contacts book open and said, "Well, now you have one number at least. You should try it sometime." Been married 5 years this summer. We were at a party at his house and it was cold outside. I was wearing shorts. I told him I thought he was cute and asked to borrow some sweatpants. Followed him back to his room at the end of the night to give them back. Ended up staying longer than that. We've been dating 3 years ever since. At a party, I walked across the room and said, "Well, I'm bored. Would you like to make out?" He did a bit of a double take. I was at a crowded bar on a cold night and was hanging out by the fire pit. A cute guy came up next to me shivering, so I said hold on as I stuck my hands close to the flames. I then reached over and touched his face with my now warm hands and said, "Hi, I'm Diamond Shira, it's nice to meet you." His response was, "Will you marry me?" and we ended up going on a date to few nights after. I was drinking at a bar with my now husband and some other people. We'd never really hung out before, and at some point in the evening I wound up with a ridiculous purple pimp hat. These things happen. A pair of cute girls came over and asked if they could wear my hat for a picture, and on a whim I told them I was borrowing it, and it was my friend's. And if they take a picture with him wearing it, I'm sure he wouldn't mind letting them wear it too. They draped themselves over him for fun drunken selfies and pictures, and despite my amazing wingman abilities, he ended up coming over to my place that night with a group of people, and we started dating not long after. To this day I have no idea whose hat that was, but we're both grateful it was making its way around the bar that night. It was a magic hat. I accused him of drinking my beer at a party, said it was fine but it would have been nice to be asked. We go outside to refuel from the snow insulated backyard fridge and find we both brought the same kind of beer. Steam whistle. We ended up pulling an all-nighter, just talking and occasionally making out. Guess who had SW kegs at the wedding? Us. Poked a random stranger on FB and started chatting for a few weeks. Asked him out for drinks. Free beer night? He declined politely. Twice. Third time's the charm, right? 7 years later, we're still together. He still doesn't drink beer. I'm not a chick, but my now GF was at a show I was doing. EDM producer DJ. She got on stage with me and started dancing real sexy on me. She leaned in and said, I have a surprise for you later tonight. Then left. I was a little confused and disappointed. Later, when I got home and was taking my things out of my pocket, I found a girl's name and number on a piece of paper. She had slipped it in my back pocket while she was dancing with me. We've been together ever since. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.